He's on mute.
Buddy, to Dumb Guy Live. With we got the United Empire pose over here. Hang on, let me orient this. That is better. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, how's it going, fellas? Murph, how the hell was Toronto?
I was running through the 6 with
all right. Jamie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Good to be back again. Another big show. We are obviously Forbidden Door review and Stardom, and then obviously a little bit of some other stuff coming up as well. Dragon, what the fuck? My TV just turned on, and the Netflix thing just started blaring.
What did you do?
I don't know what's going on. I have a Sky Glass, you see, right? So it's voice activated, which is not fucking ideal.
Sky Glass looks so sick because like they're in the Formula 1 races. They'll see like if you have Sky Glass, you can click this button and all this shit will come up. So I'm so fascinated by the Sky Glass.
Murph, I have to apologize to you guys. Give me like 2 seconds whilst I just go and saw something. I was at a little peek behind the curtain. I was in a rush getting here because I was on a different call, and so yeah, I just think I'll be 1 minute. I apologize. 1 second.
You know what? I'm just gonna remove him. Get off my stream.
Let's
anyway,
look at our new view, our new 2-man view.
Oh yeah, this is if we ever do 2 people from now on, this is what we're gonna do.
I don't like that.
This is better.
Close.
No, it's perfect. All right, let's get Jamie back on here.
Hello.
I'll switch it back around.
Yeah, sorry. I just have Murph. Thoughts on Risa Sarah?
Oh, she's good.
Jane, did you hear the thing?
I saw the Twitter thing. Like,
Jamie, thoughts on Risa Sarah?
I don't know. I don't know who the other guy is, but he's fumbled the bag. That was my fault.
Orca Udo.
It's Orca Udo. He's a Big Japan deathmatch guy. He's a wrestler.
Yeah. Oh, I know Orca Udo.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. He doesn't really wrestle anymore, as far as I can tell. I could be wrong on that, but yeah.
What a week for wrestler relationships, I'd say.
I know. Yuka and Takeshita. There's people who are like tweeted yesterday. They're like, if you're just now learning about this, you are not paying attention. I'm like, you should kill yourself.
If you're like trying to gatekeep a relationship in wrestling,
that's not yours.
You deserve to be put on a list.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Anyway, there's a couple people in the chat putting you over for being funny in the space yesterday, Murph. So
I joined on the Dumb Guy Live account because Ibu.
Oh, you did? I didn't even know.
No, but I told Ibu if I like Parker. I wanted to ask you before I joined on that account, so I was just on mine account. But am I allowed to be on Space?
That was good. That was smart to do the Space on the Dumb Guy Live account.
No, I was going pretty crazy because it was me, Ibu, Phil Lindsay, and Chris. So 2 elite guys versus 2 punk guys, and it was a pretty funny discussion. So it was fun. I was in there for like a little bit. It was a good discussion. Anyway,
stay tuned to Weekly Pro Wrestling or whatever for Risa Sarah's continued exposure of Orca Udo. That's probably the biggest thing in wrestling that happened over the last 72 hours, I'd say. Okay, let's before we get started, we have a $2 super chat from Chi-Town Spurs. Release the WrestlePurists Worldwide Kenny Ospreay ratings. Do you really want to know this?
We can say it.
You're not going to like it. Okay. Well, I mean, it's already been exposed that Ibu gave it 4.25. Joe gave it 4.5. Yeah, Ibu. Nobody on the entire WrestlePurists, and we got like our jobbers in there. Like we got everybody. Ibu gave it the lowest out of everybody. Joe and Montel both gave it 4.5. And then Manny doesn't do star ratings anymore unless he's like watching some shitter Samoa Joe match from 2007 or whatever.
Manny gave it 5. I'm pretty sure. I think Manny gave it 5.
Oh no, you're right. You're right on that. Well, I was thinking of I can't remember.
You see, Manny's an act. Manny's just an act.
He's just a gimmick. He doesn't
he actually thinks Kenny Omega's good. You see, the knucklehead thinks that Kenny Omega bad. He gave the 8-man tag from Collision 4.5, but he gave Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay 4.25. You see, I don't like going after people's opinions because it's an opinion, it's objective. But there's a little bit. There's something going on there. I mean, it's time to have a conversation there.
Drop my phone on the floor. All right. Should we get into Forbidden Door, you guys?
Let's just fucking do it.
AEW / New Japan Forbidden Door this past Sunday in Toronto, Scotiabank Arena. Murph was there in person. Murph, just talk about the experience of the show. Was it a fun live experience?
So the merch situation was terrible. There was like 2 stands in the entire arena. It wasn't good at all. I'm trying to go to Forbidden Door every year. It's like I'm trying to make it like a tradition. So I got my event T-shirt, but that's all I got. What's it called? There was a guy that had diabetic shock behind me. That was bad.
Oh.
No, yeah, they had to like give him a sugar packet. They were like, that wasn't fun. I was in 122. If you saw a guy that looks like me, I was in 122. But it was really fun. The live experience was great. The way Toronto's set up is the arena's right downtown. Like everything's like near each other, so it's really just a great city for a wrestling show. Like for example, in Chicago, the United Center, you can't really you have to take a car there, or it's not somewhere where you can just like walk over. But it's pretty easy in Toronto. But no, it was an awesome live experience. Crowd was insane. Like crowd was unbelievable. Like I could not say enough things about the crowd. It was loud. I had a Colt Cabana sign right behind me. They had a Colt Cabana sign. They didn't snatch it, which I was like really surprised they didn't. But no, it was very, very fun. I had a lot of fun at the show, and of course, it was an amazing show. I don't know if this was reported, but they did Tom Lawler versus Serpentico before the 0 hour actually started, because they had to throw Tom a bone. I mean, that's just so bad. But yeah, they did that before the show actually started. But no, it was a very enjoyable show.
Nice. All right, let's get into it then. We're gonna go. We won't spend a ton of time on every single match on this, but it's a North American style like match presentation. It's not like they just went in order of importance. They spread out the big matches to give.
I like this more. Personally, I wish there was a middle ground where we got, how Japanese like shows, they'll actually give you the order. I wish we got that. I wish we got the order, but I love how there was a cool down match in between the 2 big matches. That wasn't the cool down match I was expecting or hoping for, but but there was a cool down match, which was good, because after Kenny and Ospreay, I mean, that was just an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it's tough. I like the ascending importance. I think that's optimal for me. I'm kind of like, if you need a cool down match, I'm just like, get better. You know what I mean? Like be better at wrestling, like you're Okada and Bryan or whatever. And so one would hope that they can do enough to get the crowd into it. But regardless, though, I don't think we need to say much about the pre-show. I thought everybody looked good on it. I thought it was fun. It would have been nice to see Shingo and Hiromu in a bigger spot on the show, but that's about that. They did get a Ring of Honor.
My two bullet points on the pre-show were that Shingo and Hiromu should have been a bigger spot, obviously, and I think Billy Starks is getting a lot better. I also kind of noticed that there's been a vast improvement since her first.
She's great.
She got really good. She's not there yet, but she's getting really good. And it's really impressive to see, how much she's grown over the now that she's an actual adult now, I think.
Yeah, her and Athena, I predicted my bold prediction was that they were going to have the best match in the pre-show, and I thought they ended up having it. But some might have said the
also, I was so confused when Stu Grayson came out with Bateman, who was
I don't know. That was just that was literally just 2 Canadians fighting. They were like, we got to get Canadians.
I love ELP. So. I'm a big ELP fan.
Anyway, let's get to the main card. Opener: MJF versus Hiroshi Tanahashi for the AEW World Championship. This went 15 minutes. MJF retained with a shot from the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Tanahashi got a visual pinfall on the champ. This was not an all-time classic, but I really enjoyed it.
I'm pretty sure that if Tanahashi was in a wheelchair, he'd still be over and having good matches. I mean, obviously he has the physical limitations, but just the way he can get the crowd on his side is nobody else can do that in wrestling. I mean, just the fact, like, unbelievable babyface. Like, of course he's like generational babyface, but like even in like now, like he's just on another level. So like, this was the Tanahashi show for me. I mean, Max truly just didn't look like he wanted to be there. It was fine. It was a perfectly good match. It just wasn't, as good as it could have been, is what I'd say.
Jamie?
Yeah, obviously we saw Tanahashi on Collision with Swerve, and he obviously didn't look as like his physical peak or anything. It's been, it's not a secret he's been on the decline for a little bit in that aspect, and it's more the same there. To give MJF credit, I thought the match was kind of structured in kind of like the best possible way. It's to kind of like mask some of those limitations, and then like as Merv said, Tanahashi's like probably the best babyface maybe of all time. So that kind of aura and the receptiveness from the crowd and stuff that'll always be there, and it carried what would have been like not the greatest match to a better level just because of like it's Tanahashi.
Yeah, it was really good interplay between the two. I loved MJF's New Japan is an indie jacket that he came out of. That was pretty sweet. He does like shoot believe that, by the way. Like that's not a gimmick. that's him being him. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was I think reports of Tanahashi's demise are a little premature. In my opinion, it's been like 2 matches. Again, he's had great matches, throughout the last couple of years, including like borderline all-timers against Shingo and against Ishii and things like that. And so I'm not going to count him out until it's more than just a weekend. You know what I mean? So I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say he's like he's done or anything. It's he had a rough like kind of 2 matches in close consecutiveness, but obviously like even just like earlier this year, the New Japan Strong Show, the one that had
the Okada match,
the match with Okada. I know it's Okada still, but even then. So obviously Tanahashi's still the man. But yeah, just another thing as well before we move on, and just kind of like a general thing throughout the show. The Japanese ring announcer just popped me throughout the whole night.
He was great. Yeah, I love it when they do stuff like that. Like lean into the Japanese side of things. It is a co-produced show. Do it. I think it's great.
The one thing I love when they do it when they get in the ring, like, but like he would just do it at scat. I love when they go in the ring and he goes like,
$4.99 super chat from Ron. It could be any Ron. Hey guy, Murph, once again, thanks for the donations. And yes, I would love to write you a letter of recommendation to join the Young Republicans of America. Wow, Murph, things are looking up for you.
My statement is if you look on Open Secrets and look at campaign finance, nothing is there. I promise. Nothing.
I don't know about that.
And that's coming from a Florida resident. Nothing's there.
And then we have a $5 super chat from Mao Zedong. I thought you were dead. Murph, do not embrace that capitalistic, overtly tan man from the sinking state of Florida. You were born with the heart of the working class.
I promise you, I'm somewhere in the middle of Mao Zedong and Ron DeSantis. I'm somewhere in the middle of that. I promise.
What? You're not going to do the Cultural Revolution?
No.
You're not going to kill every landlord in your entire country?
The only war I participate in is the war on Christmas.
All right. Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, that was the opener. Thank you for the super chats, Ron and Mao. I appreciate it. I love the classic thing that I say, Ron and Mao. Second from the top, Murph, you're not allowed to talk on this one. CM Punk versus Satoshi.
No, I have so much to say, like in fun. Like this was one of my favorites of the night.
Okay. All right. It was. Let me just. I'll do the report here. It was Punk winning, and he leaned into the heel aspect. The Toronto crowd. It started out, I would say, and you were obviously there, but tell me if I'm wrong. It started out pretty even for him. I'd say there were a lot of people really happy to see him. A lot of people against him. As he leaned. Yeah, and then as he leaned into it towards the end, it was clear he was the heel in the match and Kojima was the babyface. But Murph, you really enjoyed this.
Because booing CM Punk is so much fun. It's Like the fact, like him, he cannot be a baby face because like obviously everything that happened, it just feels wrong for him to be a baby face. But like he's just so good as he like to boo. Like and Kojima's the perfect guy to like for everyone to get behind because he's like an underdog. Like Kojima's like always the underdog. My favorite was my section was really anti-Punk. I had like a couple Colt Cabana
like
signs.
IDK is saying a similar thing.
I was in 122, so me and IDK probably saw each other.
Oh, really? You guys were in the same section? That's crazy. That's awesome.
But what's it called? No, it was a very anti-Punk section. Colt Cabana sign in the row behind me. A lot of anti-Punk people, a lot of Elite fans. So I maybe like my ears like, but it was a lot of fun to boo them. And also, their match was it wasn't anything special, but it was a very heated match, and I had a lot of fun with it. My favorite with the machine gun chops when you were just barreling him with the machine gun chops. I actually started doing them on my brother because I do that to him all the time when he's not looking. So I was doing machine gun chops on my brother while Kojima was doing it to Punk. But no, I had a lot of fun with this match. Punk's I don't really have any interest in watching AEW Collision and seeing like Punk regularly, but being in the crowd and booing Punk was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought this match was a ton of fun, and obviously a lot of that came from the kind of atmosphere there. Obviously Punk is like one of the most divisive wrestlers you'll ever see, and some people like don't want him back in the company or whatever. But like you watch like these kind of matches with this type of like crowd reaction, and it's just like it just makes for incredible viewing. It brings the matches up a notch. Like Mev said, I don't think it was like anything incredible in ring, but just kind of that like divisiveness in the crowd and Punk leaning into it. He really like you can tell he enjoys working that kind of style as well. I think it brought it up a notch. As well, Kojima. We just talked about Tanahashi. Looking a little, not at his physical best. Kojima, man, he's ahead of him in years, and he's still rocking as well. I thought he had a great performance in there. He's been, he's been top performer for a long time. Obviously, he was in Noah not too long ago.
He was GHC heavyweight champion at this time last year.
He's he's a real legend, man. It was just a great time.
Almost...
I popped for the go on, man.
No, you keep. Sorry, I thought you were done.
I popped for Punk leaning into the whole, the lariat thing. Obviously, that was one of the things building up into that match. But yeah, no, it was a good time. Go on, Miv.
People ask me all the time. I almost forgot to mention this. What's my favorite wrestling move? My favorite wrestling move is the Mongolian chop from Tenzan. And when he started doing Mongolian chops, I was popping out of my seat. I was so happy when he started doing the Tenzan because Tenkoji is like one of my favorite teams ever. So I love Kojima, and it's great to see. I always never take for granted seeing legends like that from Japan because you never know when you're going to see them again. So it was a lot. That match was a lot of fun.
Talking about the legends thing, I was very fortunate. I was able to watch like Yuji Nagata. Tom Lawler had like an open challenge for the New Japan Strong title early last year, and Yuji Nagata was the one who accepted it. And I got to see that in person. That was pretty cool. I was like, that's probably my only shot I'm ever going to see Yuji Nagata. So yeah, that was pretty great. I'm definitely with you there. I thought this match was awesome. Full disclosure, I haven't really been very public about like, am I a Collision guy? Am I a Dynamite guy? Am I a Punk guy or Elite guy or whatever? So here's the deal. I love it all. I number one, I love AEW. I think it's the greatest American promotion of all time. And what's the second word in the AEW acronym? It's Elite. I adore the Elite. I love Omega and the Bucks and everybody, in their orbit. With that being said, I think CM Punk is the greatest American wrestler of all time. And so for me, the two different shows are just a dream. I'm like, oh my God, I get 4 hours of like main roster AEW that isn't like shitty Rampage, that's like kind of fake now, right? So I thought this match was fantastic. I was so entertained by Punk. He got a great, Kojima's still great, obviously, but he hasn't been like a work rate guy since probably his last G1 run, a big time like elevator. I thought this was one of Kojima's best matches, like since like 2016, his last big run, right? So I loved this. I thought it was so entertaining. Kojima elbow dropped Punk low. It was very funny. And yeah, Punk got the win. The GTS was a little bit off, but that's okay. He doesn't really hit the GTS that cleanly like ever anymore. But I loved it.
Not like the other guy that does the GTS is like smooth with moves anymore.
Yeah. Maybe everybody should just stop doing it for a while. No,
you should do the Anaconda Vice. Should be his new finish. Go back to that.
Oh yeah, he can never go back to that because of how the MMA experiment went.
Oh shit, yeah.
But but no, I thought this was great. Awesome start to the Owen Hart Cup, which has a really fun lineup. Can't wait for Joe versus Strong next week. Okay, another great match I thought was the AEW International Championship 4-way. What's that?
I was
okay, sorry. I click over to the guide and then I can't see your faces. So if you say something, I'm like, what's that? Orange Cassidy successfully defended his title off of a stolen pin versus Zack Sabre Jr., Katsuyori Shibata, and Daniel Garcia in a 4-way.
Oh, it wasn't a Pepsi Plunge chant. They're saying Pepsi Plunge chant. It was Pepsi sucks. The chants were Pepsi sucks.
A lot of Coca-Cola fans in the social bank arena.
But yeah, this was a sprint. It went like 11 minutes, this 4-way. I thought it was just awesome. Like, it was nonstop. I thought it was like an elevated version of the 4-way for this title from last year. I don't know if you thought it surpassed last year's 2.
I did. I was saying earlier that I wish this was, a singles match. I did at first. I didn't want just the 4-way. I couldn't have been more wrong. I mean, you go from Shibata, who just seeing Shibata. This was actually, my first time ever seeing Shibata wrestle in person.
I saw him at Dynamite last Wednesday, and I've been like kind of checked out of AEW for a little while just because I've been busy with other stuff, and I didn't even know he was going to be on the show until he came out. I got so excited. Yeah, and of course, you and I did see him in person at Forbidden Door last year. But anyway, continue.
I'd never seen him wrestle live before, so it was a treat. And I've been to a Wrestle Kingdom. I've been to many New Japan events in the States, but this was the first time I ever saw Shibata live. Zack Sabre Jr. is the perfect heel. I mean, when he was putting, I think it was OC in those holds, like when he that was just
he was just dominating him this whole match. Like, it was great. Like Sabre, there were so many little interlocking stories. Like, obviously Sabre and Shibata are just like Sabre is Shibata's probably #1 rival since coming back. He was his first match
obviously.
back, and then Sabre's just dominating Orange throughout the match. Orange is kind of, outsmarting and outworking Garcia throughout the match as well. And then Garcia is hamming it up and just being a great heel in there too. It's just an awesome dynamic.
Orange has been tremendous for a year now. I mean, this title reign is maybe my favorite title reign in AEW. Like, it's just been like, I know people were very mad that Swerve didn't beat him, but like at this point, like I never want OC to lose because he's having these amazing matches every week. And full disclosure, I'm not I'm not the biggest Daniel Garcia fan as a wrestler, but he was very good here, and he was, I don't love the dancing gimmick. I mean, I get that people love it, but I mean, it worked here. But no, Danny Garcia did really well here. I'm not the, so he impressed me a lot, and it was just the perfect, this match overachieved. I really was a big fan of this match. In the finish, where Orange Cassidy got Garcia, it was just a perfect finish, and then obviously the aftermath. But no, this match overachieved, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought this was terrific. Similarly to Murph, I'm not like I just prefer a singles match. Just kind of like how I prefer, the big time singles titles matches. So I wasn't like super high on the idea of a 4-way, but I thought the dynamics between all four men like really made this an excellent match. I loved the kind of like touched on the Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata interactions, especially when Garcia was like trying to get involved and they were just like batting him away. I thought that was a fun dynamic. The finish as well with Orange kind of like stealing the pin adds a little bit more as well to the dynamic of him, kind of clinging on for dear life with this title reign. as we kind of approach. Every week he kind of like feels like he gets a little bit closer to dropping the belt. Kind of one of my main things I came with coming out of this match, with Zack Sabre Jr. and Shibata, for a little while, because I've been loving this ZSJ TV title reign. I've been kind of looking to like who could be the guy to like take it off him, and I've always been kind of thinking like maybe Ren Narita, maybe down the line I'd like to see him get a run with that belt. I don't know what the situation is with Shibata going to Japan. It seems like, I don't know if there's been a report on it or whatever, but I get the feeling that they don't want to book him to kind of like not have that risk there, with him kind of going off script at Wrestle Kingdom and stuff. If you can do that and have Shibata be the one to beat, Zack Sabre Jr. for that title, and then you can do something with Shibata and Ren. I think that's a nice way to maybe get there. But yeah, no, I just thought this was a ton of fun, and definitely over-delivered on what I thought it would be as like a 4-way.
All right, let's get through some super chats here. $5 from the man who beat Chris Patton twice strikes back. Who will Okada face at Wrestle Kingdom, Kaito or Danielson?
Danielson.
Could be one of those two.
The Kaito shot's really good. I didn't even think about that as like a
could be Danielson
Wrestle Kingdom thing, but
it could be it could be like Shota or like Narita or someone like that who he's kind
I
of
feel like you can't like say until after the G1 because Wrestle Kingdom starts to bubble during the G1.
Yeah, we will certainly see after that. Remember, we didn't know Omega Ospreay was going to happen until like a month and a half before Wrestle Kingdom.
No, it was the day of Full Gear because they couldn't announce it until Kenny came back from suspension. So
yeah,
it was the day of Full Gear they announced it.
So yeah. Thank you for your super chat. We appreciate it. $1.99 from Ken Chang. Thoughts on Yuya leaving New Japan? Yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see it.
If it's true, it makes sense. If it's not, it makes sense. It's one of those things where the story lines up, but until we get any official communication, then you have to be vigilant.
Yeah. Is it like I haven't even checked? Like I presume he's still on like the New Japan roster page and everything like that. So
I'll check that while you read the next super chat.
I don't even.
Yeah, I think he is. I know his. I don't know how much to like read into. I know his Twitter's kind of like only mentions Impact, but I don't know whether that's like I feel like that might have been like that for a little while. But yeah, my next like YouTube video I'm working on is something to do with like the future of New Japan as a whole. So I kind of like I'd like some confirmation on whether he's done with New Japan, please. So
I probably just wouldn't. I probably just wouldn't mention him. Pretend he's not, and if he is,
we'll see.
$4.99 super chat from Rasslehots. 4.75 stars for QQ versus OT. Wow, the worst of your whitest brothers. Can't catch the show live today. My dad's B-Day. Have a good one, dumb guys. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
dropping in. Even if you can't watch the show, I appreciate you dropping in and saying hi with the super chat. Appreciate it, Rasslehots. Hope you're wishing a happy birthday to Pops. So,
oh yeah,
enjoy it. We'll get into that in a little while. That cage main event. Alfred, $1.99. Jamie, my boy, you the star of the show, my number one guy.
Oh, thank you. Maybe a raise or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we'll see about that. As we all know, I make the financial decisions on the show. Okay, let's keep going. We'll go kind of quickly through some of the less important matches on the show. Like Sonata versus the Jungle Boy. This was match. I thought the match was good. I thought it was quite good. The work was strong. It was just kind of short, right? Definitely, it had to have been the shortest IWGP heavyweight title match.
Still on the roster page.
He's still on the roster page. So this had to have been the shortest IWGP heavyweight title match in like literally over a decade. It was. I thought it was a good match, though. I actually probably liked it more than a lot of people said. A lot of people were just like, it was just kind of there. But the big story was well, just to finish up on it, like obviously I think the idea was just you got to have an IWGP heavyweight title match on the show. The big story, and I thought this was smart to use Jungle Boy for this then, because you have to have somebody lose, right, to Sonata. And and you don't want to put in a top star because you don't want them to lose to Sonata, but you don't want to put like a jobber because then it's like, what's the point of the IWGP heavyweight title match? So Yeah, so you use it to set up the heel turn, where after the match, Jungle Boy turns on Hook, and Jungle Hook is no more, and Jungle Boy is full on heel, which I'm excited about. I think that's high time that's happening.
I'm ready for 90210 Jack Perry. I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm excited for it.
Taz was awesome on commentary during this
part.
I
didn't hear
you didn't get to see it, but Taz was on commentary, and he's like, he reacts like a real person. Like, he's pissed because this like coward attacked his son, but he's not hamming up the concern. He's more like, he's pretty much like, I taught my son how to be like a shooter, and I know that he can defend himself when he's not being cheap shot from behind. It was so awesome.
I could see the back of Taz's head, and I looked over during it. See his bald head in rage. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I thought this was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought going into it with Sonata, like kind of saying like, oh, I don't even really know who this guy is, and then like pinning him without even hitting his finisher. That was quite beast. But yeah, and then obviously the heel turn. It's kind of like you got to do this at some point with Jack Perry, right? To see like what the depth of his character can be. If you're going to push him as a top guy, you've got to kind of experiment with these things to see what level he can get to with that stuff. But I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Final thought is that I'm ready for them to actually do something with Hook now. Like, it sucks because if they're going to feud, like, somebody has to win the feud, but Hook's been around for 2 years at this point. Like, it's time. Like, he's got to do something with this guy. He was so hot coming in, now he just doesn't really do anything. So hopefully this is an actual chance for him. 10-man tag, the Elite versus the Blackpool Combat Club. This was the Hung Bucks, Kingston, and Ishii against Moxley, Claudio, Shota, Takeshita, and Wheeler Yuta. Awesome 10-man tag. One of the better 10-man tags you'll ever see in your life.
I think it's the best I've ever seen. Like, off the top of my head.
You thought this was better than the Dragon Gate one in 2020?
I feel like that's a different. I feel like the elimination is different.
Where SB Kento's tapping out all your faves, all your legends.
Well, if we're gonna like talk about Eunice Disband's matches, I mean, I have more like favorites.
For sure. Yeah, I don't think that was the best Unit Disbands match.
I didn't know if the unit. If you were talking about I was more thinking like base 10-man.
Sure.
I love elimination. Yeah. But it was a amazing, just base 10-man tag. Takeshita was a star for me. I really Takeshita was really great. Shota Umino was great as always. He's just really impressive. The BCC guys, obviously. Ishii was awesome as always. It's really what happens when you put literally 9 amazing wrestlers in one who's a bit of a knucklehead, but a great knucklehead because he has a screw loose, and that's the best kind of wrestler. So it was just it's amazing 10-man tag. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too. It's just like, like Murph said, you look the people in there, and like, how could you not? I thought Ishii and Takeshita's interactions were really, that they were like some of my favorite bits of the match, especially with like, Takeshita's like a DDT guy, so him being like on the show, and that being possible with all the kind of like, it's just good stuff. At one point, he kind of like fucking knocked his head clean off his shoulders.
Right? Yeah.
I was like, fuck. But it was great. In the entrance as well, another bit that popped me a lot. Shota Umino kind of like forgot they were heels. He's like fist bumping everyone. I think it was, I can't remember if it was Mox or something like that. Was kind of like, hey, chill. But that's been a dynamic I've been waiting for them to play on for a little bit with Shota, because he's kind of like, I don't think he's officially in the BCC. Like, I know on the graphic it said like Blackpool Combat Club, Shota Umino, Konosuke Takeshita. So I don't think he's like in the group. But him kind of like being like a super babyface in New Japan, coming through the crowd and stuff, and then on AEW TV being like, the kind of biggest heel faction is interesting dynamic. But yeah, it was just just terrific action and stuff. Obviously, all the Hung Buck stuff was great, and Ishii getting the pin. I like to see it. So.
Ishii got the win. That was fun. It sets up a match on Dynamite. He's going to take on Jon Moxley in a rematch of their classic from the 2019.
90% sure that was supposed to be Brian. I'm about 90% sure. But it's still going to be an awesome match,
bro. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. Anytime you get Moxley against those New Japan guys, it just.
Do you remember when Moxley and Ishii had a 5-star match in Korakuen? Like, it was. Yeah,
amazing. It's almost like I just said that. Sorry. The couple memorable things from the match for me. Speaking of Takeshita, he's coming off the ropes and he does the flying clothesline, which is one of the best moves in wrestling right now. Like it just feels like a big deal when he busts it out, and then Hangman just discus forearms him out of the sky essentially, and he just crumples. I thought that was great. Kingston at one point pushes Moxley, his opponent, out of the way of the double super kick from the Young Bucks because he has taken that move before and it put him out of action. So still a little bit of mutual respect and care between those two. That's an interesting dynamic too. But yeah, it was Ishii getting the win. Great match. Toni Storm successfully defended the AEW Women's World Championship against Willow Nightingale. I thought this was a strong match as well. A little bit of interference, right, as you would expect from the Outcasts, but yeah, Toni is still champion. For me, I mean, I don't think we need to get super in depth into the match here because it was good, but it wasn't crazy. But for me, the exciting stuff is the rumblings on Twitter afterwards, where Julia is talking about how she wants to take on Willow coming up soon, which is very exciting for me. What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, everyone knows I'm like a crazy big Stardom fan, and I love Willow Nightingale. So that match for me is like that's a terrific one. I think Julia, if you kind of tapped into Stardom, is the star other than like your Kairis who've already done it. She stands out as like someone who could blow up on the international scene, and she's been talking about it a little bit. I don't know if it's official, but I have seen mentions of this being on the Independence Day show. I don't know if that's locked in. I've just seen people mentioning it, which I think would be funny because it's kind of like Julie's been talking about wanting to go and wrestle internationally. She finally gets to New Japan,
and they do it.
It's in Coracum. She's coming to her. So, well, no, it's going to be tremendous when that match happens. And obviously, Mercedes Moné will eventually be coming back for that belt, which was meant to be for her. And you would assume that Julia is beating Willow Nightingale, just kind of where those two are at. So Julia versus Mercedes is the one I've been waiting for since Mercedes came to Stardom in New Japan. So those two finally like getting in the ring. Seems like we're on the course for that. I'm all in.
The match after this was pretty good, I'd say. This was Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay for the IWGP United States Championship. They went nearly 40 minutes. Ospreay won the title, and the consensus reaction is that it is one of the greatest matches in North American history, and I would say probably 60-40 are saying that they liked it better than the already classic at the Tokyo Dome, which is saying something. It was absolutely incredible, like the peak of wrestling. Murph, you were there. How you feeling?
The greatest match ever, in my opinion. It's my new number one. And I watched it on. Usually, when I go to a show, I don't watch the show on tape because I like it. I like to have that feeling. But I was like, for this match, I want to watch it on tape and make sure that I agree. And it just even furthered it. From the entrances, I mean, Will Ospreay had one of the greatest entrances I've ever seen. I mean, where they had I was so confused when they started showing Black Lives Matter protests and saying Kenny Omega did Canada, but what are they cooking? I don't know. It was pretty cool. And then he started like beating up like TV screens, and then Don Callis came up with him, which is really cool. And then Kenny Omega came out to the Devil's Sky, which legendary entrance music, and I mean, this match, there were so many highlights. Like when you talk about a match, you talk about a couple highlights. I mean, from the Canadian flag spot, which I thought was awesome.
It was so memorable. It was so great. Like it was just like, it's like, that's the type of stuff. Like obviously it's nothing crazy, right? Yeah. It's just, it's a spot, but it's like, that is what made, like, these people are like geniuses. Like they just get it. You know what I mean? To build an entire like 2-minute long spot around a prop that they didn't know was going to be there.
Yeah.
And make it so entertaining.
I love when they do the spot where they hang someone over the rope and like you just like see that
visual. Yeah, it was great.
And then honestly, my favorite spot personally was when when Will Ospreay kept banging Kenny Omega off the
oh my god
thing on the table.
You could tell he was trying to put him through it, and eventually kind of got there, but
and then Kenny Omega was like, fuck that, and then literally did a brain bot, like a DDT on the steps. And then I mean, they were just wrestling, and then when he did the Kamigoye, I legitimately thought it was like an out of body experience. Seeing him do the Kamigoye and then the One Winged Angel and then him kicking out at one. It was legitimately, I thought I was gonna like faint. Like, oh my god, seeing that live. And then Will Ospreay eventually wins, but I've kind of refined it because I said a similar thing and Parker said it was very cringe. But basically like, I mean, everybody, like, there's so many wrestling matches. I mean, there's like, you can have a wrestling match in a county fair. I mean, you can do anything, but it takes special people to like have a match like that. And Kenny Omega is like that, and Will Ospreay is like that. Like, it's the greatest match I've ever seen. And I would that be the case if I wasn't there? I don't know, because I can't forget that I was there. But the other time I got that feeling was Kenny and Okada 4, the 2 out of 3 falls, and I got the same feeling here. So it was the greatest match I've ever seen, and I'm very blessed to be able to see it.
Jamie, you also rated it 5 on the match guide.
Actually,
live up to everything and more.
7.
Yeah, to be clear, Murph rated it 7 stars.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what number I'd have gone with if the we went on that cap of only 5, but it was incredible. I've not yet worked out whether I prefer this to the first one. They're both obviously like fucking incredible matches. I think the first one kind of like maintained a high quality for longer, but I feel like the second one, its finish was just fucking incredible. Like I think the closing stretch,
of the closing stretch was like out of body experience. Oh yeah, just like, oh my god.
I feel like that kind of, it's a tough one. I'd have to watch both of them back again. Yeah. But like just so many like memorable moments. That bit that you said about the fucking smacking his head off the table, that was incredible. So when I watch wrestling, right, obviously time zones and stuff, I'm watching this at like 4 a.m. or whatever. I'm not trying to like wake people up in my house, so I'm usually like pretty quiet when I'm watching the wrestling, or at least I try to. When Ospreay hits the Tiger Driver, I like all
the Tiger Driver.
Yeah,
I literally went like,
the Tiger Driver was like, all right, everyone, let's like, come on. Like, it reminded me of do you guys remember Ibushi Naito when they wrestled like 4 matches in 2019 against each other? And yeah, they did one at Dominion where Ibushi intentionally had his head smash against the apron on a German to the floor. And I was like, all right, everyone, like, come on now. It was very much
that was the match Dave said he almost didn't rate because of how
he didn't rate it. Yeah, in the Observer, if I recall, he was like, you could go anywhere from dud to 4 3/4 on this one. But anyway, the Tiger Driver was like, oh my god, he landed right on his head. Mm-hmm. You talked about the 1 count, Murph, but I think it's the best 1 count in wrestling history.
It was better than the one in the Kenny and Hangman.
And I'm a sucker for him. I watch a ton of wrestling, and there's probably a couple matches a month that bust out the 1 count. Like, they do it all the time in Big Japan. They do it in GLEAT. They do it in All Japan. They love doing. I will say, actually, All Japan does show restraint on that quite a bit, but they do it, all the time, right? I remember one of the most notable ones. Like, they did like 3 of these. I want to say was like, you remember Keith Lee and Dijak?
Yes.
From PWG. They had some great 1 counts in that one, but this was just on another level. The One Winged Angel is the most interesting and compelling and protected move in wrestling, and Ospreay has been beating people with it in like Rev Pro and things like that. And he hits it on Omega, and Omega kicks out at 1 because it's his move and he can do whatever the fuck he wants. And it was just unbelievable. Like, I was going crazy in that match. So full disclosure, I was up at 4:15 a.m. that morning because I had to fly back from Georgia, where I was. So I took a little nap during the Willow and Tony match, and then I went back and watched it later. But I woke up for this watch. I was a little groggy at the start. Don Callis is getting ejected. I'm like, all right, this is pretty good. And then they just keep going and going and going, and it's like, oh my god, this is great. It is top 2 match of the year for me. I'd have to go back and watch the All Japan tag because that's my number 1 right now. But yeah, it's as good as wrestling gets.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna really talk about the Sting and Jericho match. It's just kind of a cool down party match. I will say Guevara hitting a shoot 630 through a table on Sting was pretty funny. I love Sammy Guevara, but we will go through some super chats here. From Yozora Hart, $5 super chat. Where does Omega go from here? Personally, I think from trios to US belt. He's been so hot, and AEW needs to get him out of the mid card. I completely agree.
Going?
What's that?
He's going to Stanford, baby.
Okay, all right. Shut up. Stop. Don't be cringe.
Gone.
I agree. Like, I would not be upset if he was the one to dethrone MJF as babyface champ. I think that would be great. Just whatever they do with him, they got to do it. Like maybe Takeshita is the stepping stone feud that puts him back in the world title hunt, right? I think that would be great.
Yeah, Takeshita feud. That's what they honestly should do.
Mm-hmm. And they will. That's what they're doing next. Arnold. Howdy, boys. Jamie, I just want to say, keep up the good work. You remind me of a young me, the charisma, the physique, the style. Keep it up, XOXO.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I don't know about the physique, but I appreciate it.
Howdy, boys, damn it.
I appreciate it, Cheers, Arnold.
$20 super chat from Chi-Town Spurs, waxing poetic about Omega Ospreay. Words cannot describe Ospreay Omega. It was Michelangelo's Sistine Chapel, which I've seen in person. It was Nas's Illmatic, which I've listened to many times. It was Francis Ford Coppola's Godfather, which I've watched many times. I ascended to a higher plane of existence as I watched Ibu Should Be Tried in the Hague.
That's the best thing I've heard all day.
That is, yeah. You could probably define that as a war crime. Yeah, I think you could let that
4.2. Wars were started for less.
It's crazy. Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't know what he wants out of wrestling. Bruh. Murph, how was the in-house reaction to the Benoit spot? Did people in your section catch on? There's no way.
I didn't catch on until I saw Chris O'Crow on Twitter. I checked my.
That couldn't have been intentional.
I thought he was doing the cross. To me, the crossface is like, when I think of the crossface, I think of the label lock. Personally,
yeah, I do too. So.
Yeah, I think it was intentional.
You do?
I think I think so.
Ospreay's fucked up in the head.
He is a freak. But damn, that's crazy. Oh man, and we got a couple more here too. Darren Walker. Kenny versus Will was very good. Still behind MJF versus Danielson for match of the year. That's fair. That match was awesome too. That's one of the 10 best matches I've seen all year for sure. Yeah. And thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. It's either pounds or euros. It's definitely one of the two.
Darren's a big Ibu fan. So good to see. You like Kenny and Will.
From Deanne Maz, $5. Kenny takes that Tiger Driver 91 and is fine. Your fave would take that move and would be sucking their food out of a straw. There's levels to this stuff.
It's true.
Agree. I don't think Asahi would do very well if she took that move. Sheamus would be fine.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, Kento would be fine.
Minarita could take that move.
Who? Minarita? No, Minarita would turn to dust probably. And then Mavs fan 84, always loyal. I've seen enough. Belt up Omega and let him cook. That's fine by me. World. It's been I'm ready for just a work rate ass champion. You know what I mean? I think that's good. MJF's been champion for 7 months now, 8 months.
Ever since Hangman left the belt, I lost the belt, and I'm kind of done. I want a Kenny champion again. I want a Hangman champion. I want a champion like that. Baby.
Yeah. There's value in just having and I've always been an advocate of this. That's why I was so happy when Shingo won the belt a couple years ago. Just and Ospreay, of course, too. It's just, if you get some best in the world level wrestlers on your roster, why are they not your champion? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When talking about dethroning Orange Cassidy, people are throwing out some sort of minor names that are more story driven people and less work rate. Someone like Hobbs or someone like that. But for me, I just give it to Roosh give it to like Phoenix or someone like that. You know what I mean? And just let him be like a great wrestler. So I don't know. But anyway, yes. I think we are all in agreement. Ospreay Omega is one of the great matches ever.
Yeah.
Talked about the 6-man tag briefly. We will move on to our main event. It was the dream match. Kazuchika Okada tapped out to Bryan Danielson on a broken arm in the main event. This went 27 minutes. Some kind of mixed reactions to this one, but I don't know about you guys. I thought this was great. I was enthralled, entertained from start to finish. It's one of those things where Okada and Danielson have built up the cachet of being entertaining for decades. You know what I mean? They don't have. It's not like you're throwing some like random people out there, and it's like you have to earn my attention for 27 minutes. They've earned it for me. So I'm just, I was hanging on every move they make. It was not an all-time classic. I think all of us are in agreement on that what it could have been, but
the finish was an all-time classic finish for me. Out of shock.
Tapping out, it was like, whoa. Yeah. And of course, Danielson broke his arm 10 minutes into it. And you see the S-ray, it is a clean break of the ulna, I want to say. But anyway, this was I thought this was a great main event, fitting main event for Forbidden Door.
The music too.
Oh yeah.
The final countdown. I mean,
oh yes, of course. We talked about this on the someone super chat, and asked us about it, and I was really happy to hear it. It was so funny. I'm so conditioned to him having it, that it didn't even register for me until like 15 seconds in. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't his normal theme.
The worst thing is I was told about a little bit before the show that he had the music, which kind of ruined the surprise for me. But it's still like but I didn't tell my little brother because I didn't want to tell my little brother. I wanted to see his reaction to doing it.
I spoiled Claudio's return last year to like my entire section. I was telling everybody.
I try to like seem like a not very smart wrestling fan because I don't want to look like a mark, but like when I'm at a show, but like I don't even wear a wrestling shirt most of the time just because I'm not a big wrestling shirt guy. I know you aren't either, Parker, but no, that the music, that was awesome because it popped me so much. And then after the show, Brian did a babyface promo, even though he's a heel on TV, and he listened to the music twice in its entirety, which was awesome.
Oh, that's fun.
It was awesome.
Jamie?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. Obviously, like you guys just said, the entrances with a final countdown, and then obviously I love Okada's whole entrance as well.
Awesome.
Love his theme. Obviously, the coin drop, iconic wrestling theme intro. So the vibes are already like on an all-time high. And then obviously like the match, the work before the injury, the match was trending towards something like all-time level. Super unfortunate the way it kind of like panned out, and I think like on a rewatch, with the knowledge of like what had happened, it's kind of noticeable that something had gone wrong at some point there. So obviously that's a little disappointing with kind of the expectations we have for this match. I do think we get it again. Obviously, someone pointed out before, maybe at the Tokyo Dome, but there's a few different options there for Okada. But just like a really like perfect way to end the show. Just kind of encapsulates everything, like what this Forbidden Door. It's just like it's probably the biggest match you could make on a show like this. So ending it with that was incredible. And hopefully Danielson's not out for too long. I hope he'll be there at Wembley, but I'm not too sure what the kind of like,
He'll be there in some capacity. I don't know if he'll wrestle though.
Yeah, I'm no doctor, so I'm not exactly sure what the timescale is looking like there. But great way to end the show.
Great way to end the show. I thought the show was a double thumbs up. Like anytime, like it's impossible not to when you have a match as good as Omega Ospreay. And I thought everything. I didn't think there was anything close to bad on the show. I thought everything was good to very good to great.
This surpassed last year for me.
It's tough because there were definitely more minor matches on the show.
I think the highs were higher.
And obviously, you have to think of the expectations. The expectations going into last year were low because it was cursed. and then this year had that incredible double main event. But I would say just about everything like lived up to expectations, and I would say the Punk match and the 4-way exceeded expectations.
I agree. As someone who's there for both, I preferred this year personally.
Okay.
Right. I thought, and I'm not saying this is like an agenda pusher, but I thought the FTR match last year was pretty boring. With Cobb and O'Khan. And I thought the women's match was better this year.
I've completely forgot about it. What was the other team there? Was it just
Rocky and Trent?
Right. Yeah, I forgot. I thought I got worked in that match. I was like, "Fuck, Dex is hurt." Damn it.
Oh right, yeah, but that was so boring. Yeah. And then I thought the women's match was better this year, because it didn't have someone. Never mind.
I do too. But all right, man.
I was being real nonchalant there. But I did think this year was better. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. We are running low on time. It is a packed show this week because we're getting to Stardom Sunshine, and then it's Kobe World this weekend, so we got to get to that as well. But we're gonna start with Stardom. Give us a review of this past weekend show. Jamie, let's only talk about the last 4. All right, on the show. We'll start with Tam's team against the Micah team. Go for it.
Yeah, so 6-woman tag. We got Meltia, Tam Nakano, Natsupoi teaming up with Kairi, who's kind of she's factionless, but she's kind of Cosmic Angels affiliated, right?
For sure.
Obviously, she's in Restart with Natsupoi and Soriano, and they're against the kind of the Micah, Mei Seira, and Suzuki have kind of been teaming a lot recently. Kind of hints of maybe a new faction might form there. And yeah, I thought this was a really enjoyable one. Obviously, getting Kairi on these shows is always great because she's not there all the time, but she's there more often than not now on these shows. She's kind of pointed out that she wants to do more. And yeah, just great stuff. Obviously, I love everyone involved. Micah this year has been incredible. Obviously, following on from the Himeka retirement match, I definitely see big things for her in the 5-star. And yeah, good stuff. Natsupoi gets the pin on, I believe, Mei Seira.
Yes.
And yeah, just like really good matchups there. Kind of makes me look forward to more of the like Suzuki, Mei Seira, what kind of like big singles matches we could be getting in the future. Because obviously those two seem like they're fully Stardom signed now, and obviously Suzu in the 5-star as well. So some big stuff coming there, and yeah, big win for Cosmic Angels in that one.
Next, we had, as expected, a title change. New Goddess champions Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May, fresh off of her inclusion in the 5-star. They are the new Goddess champions. They beat Mariah and Ami Sourei to win those titles.
They certainly did. Like you mentioned, we all kind of expected that title change, and I think it's a deserved one too. Obviously, Mina coming off recently losing the white belt after a very, very short reign. So I think she kind of needs something to like reheat her a little bit, keep her, put a title back on her, keep her, give her something to do. And then Mariah May, I've talked about it a ton. I think she's like been really impressive since joining Stardom. So I think she deserves it too. The match wasn't like anything crazy, I don't think. The team of the new eras like don't really hit for me a lot. Like I think they've improved a little bit. But still, they're not like my favorite team in the company or whatever.
I just don't give a shit about Mariah. I just don't at all. Like, I don't know what to say. She's going to main event a pay-per-view this weekend, and I just like, I don't know. Like, I like Ami Sourei. Every time she wrestles, I'm like, man, I love this girl. She's great. I can watch her wrestle all the time. But Mariah, I just don't give a shit about at all. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, but title change like we expected. So I'm, looking forward to seeing what's next for those two. And yeah, a deserved win for the Club Venus.
We had a cage match for the Artist Championships as well, and it was DDM successfully defending those titles against Stars. This was Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Koguma. Mayu's always fun in these cage matches because her thing is like she doesn't like him, she doesn't want to do him, she's afraid. I thought I liked this more than a lot of people. Like most people thought it was really good. I thought this was great. Just super high energy, nonstop action the entire time. Lots of great spots. I thought both Koguma and Hazuki had great big time spots. And we got an extended Mayu versus Julia closing sequence that I thought was extremely well wrestled too. And Julia kind of like owned her. Like it was really compelling. I thought Julia just out wrestled her and just won the match essentially. And she hit her with the finish and made her way out. And it was I thought it was very emphatic and kept up Julia's momentum after losing the title. So I thought this was a double thumbs up. I love this match.
Yeah, I loved it too. Obviously this is the first of 2 cage matches we get on this show. And obviously if anyone who's watching will know that the second cage match was a lot more like heightened drama with the kind of stipulation at play. This one with the people involved, particularly the Stars team, FWC in particular, they go crazy in this. So this is kind of like the more fun, spot heavy, kind of crazy cage match. You know, like you mentioned, the big jumps off the cage. You know, always count on Koguma to jump off something tall. She's like Stardom Jeff Hardy for some reason, which is kind of wild. You know, give her something big and she'll jump off it. And yeah, that closing session with Julia and Mayu was excellent. Before we got the Willow call out, which obviously came after this match. Obviously with the talk of Julia wanting to do international stuff, I thought she was gonna like, you know, make a play for Mayu's IWGP title.
Oh yeah,
maybe we get something there. So that's why I thought you were trending with that one. Obviously we're going in a different direction with it. But yeah, no, really fun stuff. The FWC and Mayu team is a team I've wanted to like win those trios belts for a while.
Me too.
DDM have only just got them after a really short reign from Restart as well. So I wasn't hoping for it right here. But I'd definitely like to see them have a little run sometime in the future. But yeah, really great cage match.
And then the main event completely subverted expectations. This was Queen's Quest against Oedo Tai. It was escape the cage rules, and the last wrestler in the ring was going to be forced to leave their stable. And it was not Saya Kamitani. It was not Utami Hayashishida. It was Saki Kashima. She is being forced to leave Oedo Tai, the current high-speed champion in Stardom, and she's going to defend against Fukigen Death this weekend, another Oedo Tai wrestler. So going to be interesting to see where she comes from there. But Jamie, I'm sort of bearing the lead here. A lot of people are calling this like the women's match of the year, the Joshi match of the year.
Yeah, and I think it's right up there. It's incredible. It kind of way over delivered. I knew it'd be fun because a lot of the people involved are great. But you know, it's like there's like 12 people in there, and I wasn't really sure how it would play out. There was all kinds of weapons involved. But it just over delivered in every aspect. Like the in-ring where it was great. There were some really fun spots. At one point, there's like a table and a ladder that just spawns in, and I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, when did the ladder get here? Like, what's going on? Yeah,
like I knew weapons would be involved, but like I had to, you know, but and yeah, like just everyone, even like people like Lady C, who I don't even think is like, she's obviously on the lower end of kind of like the work rate stuff on the roster. I thought she had some fun spots in there. There's one point where she kind of like, I can't remember who it is, but like throws someone right into the cage, and I thought that was a that was a great spot.
That was exactly what I was going to say. Like like against all odds, I thought Lady C was so awesome in this match. She's, you know, there's a spot where Starlight Kid is climbing the cage, and Lady C is tall, believe it or not. So she climbs up and gets her, right? And then she fucking choke slams her all the way down. And I have to say, Starlight Kid was great in this match too. Not on offense, but she was just a great bumper. She took multiple. She took that and the top of the cage stomp from Azumi, and she sold them both like she was dead. You know, she's an incredible seller. I would say underrated because I don't know that a lot of people talk about her. But Starlight Kid was great, and then at the very end, we're left with Saya, Utami, both in Queen's Quest, in there with Saki, right? And well, so Saya has already escaped, right? Or is it? Yeah, and Utami's got the crimson mask, like she's been bleeding everywhere. And Utami makes it to the top of the cage because she out wrestles Saki Kashima as she should, and then Saya meets her at the top. And you know, they had some discord earlier, like Saya, you know, walloped her with the bin, right, Ruaka's bin, and so they get to the top, and then we're like, okay, what's going to happen? And then that evil Momo Watanabe shows up, and she's like, here, take this bat and attack Utami with it. Saya takes the bat. She hesitates. She thinks. Then she whacks Momo with it, and Momo goes flying off the cage. And it's like friendship was invented and saved in all that moment. And so, Utami can't get over the top of the cage by herself, so Saya has to hoist her up and get her over. Meanwhile, Saki's just like dead in the ring. It was so entertaining. I thought the finish was so great. Other thoughts on the match, Jamie?
Yeah, so you kind of like hit a lot of the points on kind of the emotional beats at the end there. Towards like obviously when we did like the kind of preview for this show, I think all of us were kind of set that it was going to be one of Aphrodite who were leaving in this match. As we got a little bit closer, I had a few. That was at one point like super close to the show. I kind of decided that maybe Lady C was going to leave Queen's Quest.
Ooh.
I just had just because they've teased stuff with DDM before. I thought maybe this is where they do it. But I was not right until the very end. I was not expecting Queen's Quest to come out with the win here. And I just thought the way they like executed it made it like it was perfect. They, we talked about the Queen's Quest kind of needed like a refresh or maybe just kind of just disbanded altogether. They kind of didn't really have a clear kind of direction or vision. This has really like reheated them up, and I think Utami especially could have like a big 5-star one off the back of this now, and they're just a way more united faction. And then for Saki Kashima, obviously I've mentioned before, she's one of my favorites in the whole promotion. They're not like a crazy anything from an in-ring standpoint, but just as a character, I think she's super fun. And my favorite faction as a group of characters is a Wedo Tai. But I'm now announcing after the disgusting events that transpired after this cage match, I will be going with Saki Kashima wherever she ends up.
All right, I like it. I like it.
Like a LeBron or a Ronaldo fan. I'm on the I'm following Saki Kashima. Where that'll be, I don't know. I want to back in Stars. Selfishly, I was
gonna say you can join. Cool. I'm a Stars guy. You can join me in Stars, and we can be some fans together.
I think her ending up in God's Eye with Shuri, with the dynamic of those, I think could be fun.
That'd be very funny.
Yeah. But there's a lot of options.
I could see her, if they do end up doing the Micah split, I could see her in DDM. I think her vibe kind of fits DDM, but she also wrestles a bit differently than a lot of other people. So there's lots of places they could go with her. And of course, she also, I think, fits very well in both Cosmic Angels and Club Venus too, for various reasons. So
Club Venus have extended the offer to Saki Kashima. Okay. So we'll see. It seemed like Azumi was extending an offer as well, though, at the end. So there's a lot of direction.
High demand. She's a champ. She's in high demand.
Big star.
Yeah. Big star. Not in the 5-star. I have to say, I'd be remiss if I wasn't. I did not think this was the all-time classic that a lot of people thought it was. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great cage match. One of the 10 best Stardom matches all year. I didn't think it reached the heights of like match of the year contender for me. A lot of the plunder, it was just like, oh, we got to do this spot now for me a little bit, and less like natural. And of course, when you get 12 women in there, it's going to be a lot of people just sort of laying around a lot, which isn't really my favorite. Also, by the time we got to the 5th jump off the top of the cage, where you could have just escaped, and instead, like including the match prior, and instead they jump back in and do it. I'm like, all right, guys, like I get the fun spots, whatever, but there's a little bit of illogic that creeps into my mind. And I'm like, it doesn't really make sense to me. But and then finally there was just, ironically, Lady C and Starlight Kid, both of whom I thought were incredible in this match, like 2 great performances. I thought Starlight Kid's moonsault off the top was like kind of botched. Like she didn't hit it at all. Like I don't know if C was just not in position or she didn't get the jump that she wanted or what, but it was like really weird and it didn't hit right at all to me. So someone mentioned it in the chat, the Hina and Rina judo, back and forth was really fun. I'm excited. I think Hina should be the one to beat Rina for the future title, and hopefully at some point Hina becomes like more of a regular. She's still kind of part-timer as opposed to Rina, who's pretty much a full-timer right now. And of course both their older sisters in the 5-stars. So yeah. But anyway, like I don't want to sound too critical. It was just all that stuff built up prevented it from being like this like, whoa, blow away, incredible, match. I still thought it was easily the match of the night and one of the best cage matches of the year. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Just very quickly, because I'm conscious we want to get to Kobe World. Someone pointed out in the chat. Obviously, Rena didn't get involved with the beatdown. She could be going with Saki, wherever that is. Obviously, those two have been kind of linked since Rena joined the Red Tie. So we'll see. Could be another departure there, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, enough of Stardom Sunshine, I believe the show is called.
Yeah. Should we move on to Midsummer Champions this upcoming weekend?
Yeah, we'll very quickly preview.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was this weekend.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. They just don't stop. I would say, like, there's a passion injection match, but a bigger opponent this time. Nanai's taking on Starlight Kid. And then there's two title matches and one big grudge match. So we'll start with what I think might be the main event. Or actually, am I wrong? Yeah, wait a minute. No, there's 3 title matches and the grudge match. Sorry. We'll briefly talk about Saki and Fuki and Death. Like, obviously the intrigue there is just like what Saki's doing, right? Like, what's next for her? I don't think she's losing that title. Fuki and Death is always like the filler defense, right?
Yeah, it should be fun, two kind of like roll up specialists in the high speed division, and but yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a crazy match or anything. In fact, I think playing on that, I think it could be like a pretty short match, with kind of how those two wrestle. But yeah, the intrigue's definitely what Saki's doing. So we don't need to spend too much time on that. I think it's just kind of like where they're going to go with it, and how is this match going to play into that.
In the Goddess title match, it is Ami Sourei getting another shot. This time, she's got a better partner, in my opinion. She's got Shuri by her side. That adds some intrigue to me. It's been a long time since Shuri's been in the tag title mix. So this should be a lot of fun. I think it should be a better match than the previous one, I would say.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't looked at the pay-per-view card. I've seen it before, but I kind of forgot a few things. I kind of forgot that this match was happening. And obviously, this match was announced before we knew that Mina and Mariah were like definitely going to be champions headed in. So it adds another bit of intrigue there. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see Shuri in like a tag team title match. I don't think we've seen her in that kind of environment since like the ALK days with Julia. So yeah, it should be a fun little time.
For the Wonder of Stardom Championship, it is going to be Tam defending against Mirai, who's cashing in her Cinderella win, and it's feeling like she might win this time. It's just weird with the double champ stuff. Like, the vibes are weird, but I don't know what's going to happen here. I don't want her to win because I'm not a fan, but it feels like they got to do it.
Yeah. I know it's a really tough one. I'm in a very similar position to you. When she won the Cinderella, I was like, I knew that this eventually was going to happen. I don't want her to win the white belt just because I think, like, as I think we all do, there's so many people ahead of her, and they're kind of more deserving of that spot. But then again, winning the Cinderella back to back, if she loses another white belt title match, kind of just feels like we just kind of pissed away that tournament. What was that?
She's gonna feel like Mizuki, and she's gonna get like some consolation run that falls flat, like Mizuki did at earlier the year.
Yeah, so it's not my favorite booking decision at all. I think Tam's great with the kind of emotional kind of heightenings of the match. So
should have just had Waka win the fucking Cinderella.
Yeah, I would agree.
Right? Like, this could have been an incredible match for, like, imagine Waka in this slot. You know what I mean? Yeah.
With all the club, the Club Venus Cosmic Angel stuff behind it, that would have been perfect. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But it's not one I'm like crazy looking forward to. But yeah,
one match I think we're both looking forward to is this what looks to be the main event based on the card. This is a Yokohama Budokan, so a big venue too. Natsupoi versus Saori Ano in an Indian strap match. Should be. It's like, why not? This is actress girls vibes. This is two actress girls originals going at it here. Two people who look very similar, two people who have very similar gimmicks and presentation, and it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, this this one's kind of flew under the radar with the whole Aphrodite thing that was going on. It was kind of like teasing that these two are going to break up. You know, the Saya and Utami, and they'd kind of like accidentally hit each other and stuff. Natch Boy and Soriano have like come to blows. Like it's you know, if there's any like duo that's kind of on the verge of splitting up, it's these two. So yeah, I'm really intrigued of where this one's going to go as well. I think Soriano's been teaming with the Micahs and Suzukis and stuff in the lead up to this match, and it kind of feels like maybe a lot of these outside players have kind of landed in Stardom in the last month or so. You know, like the couple of wrestlers I just kind of mentioned. Maybe Rossi's like assessing the situation and thinking, right, okay, we put Sori and Cosmic Angels, but maybe we need to like reshuffle a few things around here, and maybe they're on the verge of doing that. Alternatively, they could just be like, one of them will win, and then they'll be on good terms. But regardless of that, I think it should be excellent. Because I love both of these two. I don't know how the kind of Indian strap match vibe will work out, but I'm sure they can make something.
Yeah, that'll be that's the test, is because we know these two are great, right? It'll just be the gimmick and their incorporation of it.
Yeah,
but Natsupoi was fantastic in the big gimmick match last year, the cage match against Tam. So if she can, you know, keep some of that magic going, and even Saori has she has all this Oz Academy experience with this, which is like all plunder, right? So I imagine they can make this work.
Yeah, it should be great.
Okay, that's gonna do it for Stardom Talk. Murph, we can go as long. I'm fine going over time. We can go as long as you want on because this weekend it is going to be Dragon Gate Kobe World Pro Wrestling Festival from the Memorial Hall in Kobe, and the main event here. We always go top down.
Well, first I would like to say, if you want a time to subscribe, this is the time, because July is a packed month, and the archaic 1 week schedule is gone. Now everything's there for a year, and shows that are aired on TV.
What, really? I didn't even know.
Yeah, it's gone.
That makes me so happy.
Those are just there now.
Oh my god, that makes Dragon Gate so much more accessible to me.
Subscribe at Dragon Gate.
I use Murph's Dragon Gate network login.
So DragonGate.live. Subscribe. It's a little expensive, but it's worth it, because July is also King of Gate, and there's also a Boyden show. So, and also the show on the 1st is free the night before. So, and that has a main event, which is the title match.
It's the big main event set up. The card, the 6, it's just so intriguing, so compelling, and they'll make it big. They'll make it big.
So
I'm gonna still host, and then you're just gonna give me color commentary, Murph. How's that? And then Jamie, jump in because I know you're not the most tuned into Dragon Gate, but if you ever have
I'm
thoughts,
absolutely gonna watch this show.
I know you'll watch it. Just let me know if you got thoughts heading in. Okay, the main event is, and this is why I have not been the biggest Dragon Gate fan over the last year or so. I just think they've gotten away from just having like classics, and it's been a lot of build, and finally I feel like in this match we're getting back to some of in this show as a whole, except for maybe the Twin Gate, we're getting back to some of the stuff that I love about about this company. And if you guys know anything about me, you know that my favorite style of wrestling is not Puro. It's not Joshi. It's Lucha Libre. If there was a competent Lucha Libre company, not CMLL, not AAA, who like made consistently entertaining programs and and actually like wrestle, booked like a Japanese or American company, they would be my favorite company. Dragon Gate is the closest thing to that, ironically. And the main event here is going to be a 5-way mask versus match, steel cage match between Ultimo Dragon, Shin Skywalker, Dragon Kid, Diamante, and Strong Machine J. Murph, I know you're excited for this one.
This match is going to end. So it's an escape the cage. So basically the way it works is that there's no pinfalls and submissions. You must capture your mask to escape. So your mask is going to be on like a stick at the top of the cage, and you have to grab it, and then you can leave. Ultimo, we all know, is going to be the first one out. I can guarantee that.
Yep. Thank you for coming, Ultimo. Thank you for being in the match.
Shun is probably not going to lose. So Shun also will probably keep
Shun's not losing the mask. Nope.
And there's another guarantee. Dragon Kid will probably be in the last two. The last two will probably be Dragon Kid and someone. And it's either
you don't think it'll be Strong Machine J and Diamante?
No, they're not going to fit. They're not going to.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. It's going to be.
I think it's going to be DK and someone just because like DK losing a mask, like that's just so huge.
That is huge. Yeah.
So it's either going to be Strong Machine J, Diamante, maybe DK. I don't think it's going to be DK though.
I don't think so either.
The argument for Strong Machine J is that he's gotten very good at wrestling this year, but he still looks like a dork, and he wears like this hokey singlet, and he has the Strong Machine mask on, and apparently he's a good looking guy, so like he doesn't need it. So that's the argument for him. Also, so Diamante is the guy he could lose the mask and they could just go behind him. He could win King of Gate. That's the argument for Diamante. But also, there is a rumor that Ultimo Dragon wants to face Diamante mask versus mask in Mexico. So also, it could be Strong Machine J losing here, and they continue to build to the Diamante mask match next year at Dragon Mania in Mexico. So, I'm so
glad we're getting that back too. By the way,
this match is going to be unbelievable. It's the second time that a non-Dreamgate match is main event in Kobe World, and it's honestly it has nothing to do with the Dreamgate match being like bad. It's that they have to set up the cage. So there's an intermission after the Dreamgate match. But
it's also like it should be the main event. Like,
oh yeah, I agree.
When Ultimo Dragon and DK are putting up their mask, and Shun, who's their top star, I'd say, are putting up their masks, like it's the main event.
It's gonna be unbelievable. I'm really excited. It's Dragon Gate cage matches never disappoint. Like they're like guaranteed. They have like a 4.5 floor.
This is like it's like take the platonic ideal of like Dangerous Gate and put it in the main event of Kobe World, and it's this. Like this is one of the matches I've been most excited about all year in any promotion anywhere in the world. I am so excited.
This match is going to be a barn burner, and
let's make a prediction. Who do you think it's going to be?
Diamante.
I also think it's going to be Diamante. I think I see what you're saying about Strong Machine J, but the whole point is that he's the son of Strong Machine and Super Strong Machine, and you want to keep that legacy with the mask. Like there's a way they can make that gimmick not look dorky. Like maybe get rid of the fucking singlet.
The singlet is so bad.
It's so bad. He just looks he looks like small in it, right? Because he's not like a jacked up guy, and usually Strong Machine is guess what? Like looks kind of strong. So anyway, I think there's a way they can make that work where he still keeps the mask. I think Diamante is going to lose the mask, and I think Diamante will be Dreamgate champion at some point.
I think Diamante is going to lose and then win King of Gate. This is my prediction.
I'll give my thoughts on it as a kind of outsider. First of all, I think the match will be great. I'm familiar with some of the guys more than others, but I've seen everyone in there at least a little bit. And it just sounds like a ton of fun. We just talked about a few cage matches, and this one sounds like it's going to be just as exciting. My prediction is Strong Machine J as an outsider, purely because when we kind of had the unveiling of like the new kind of big six in Dragon Gate, he just kind of like Murph mentioned, he kind of did stand out.
I agree. He stood out to me out of the other five.
And I think kind of like just an instant way of making him feel like just making him more like feel like a top guy would be to give him a new look, and so I think that could be an easy way we get there. But by no means am I the expert, so but I'm really looking forward to seeing that match.
So excited for this one. Second from the top is another great one. Like this should just be great, and I hope. And I'm thinking not being in the main event is going to maybe take a little pressure off. Actually, yeah, exactly. We could get some real Shun Yamato vibes from this one. And this is Madoka Kikuta defending against Yuki Yoshioka, his stablemate in D-Courage for the Dreamgate title. Yuki Yoshioka won this title for the first time a year ago at Kobe World. Madoka Kikuta 2 years ago was fucking with a broken collarbone and was the hip hop man and was like the sixth most important guy.
Not in the IWRG hip hop man. He was just hip hop kicker.
Different. Yeah. And now he is the Dreamgate champion. He was born in 2000.
Kikita has been the man this year. He's been ever since he had a match with Shingo in December it was on Christmas.
And he's the new Shingo. Like he's the heir apparent. Yep.
No, Kikita has been unreal this year. And Parker kind of like watched it unfold because I was telling him like this Kikita is going to win the title because like
I didn't believe it. It just didn't. I was like, I don't know. It didn't feel like his time, but you were so right. Like you nailed it.
And Kikita has been unbelievable. And Yoshioka is the best wrestler in the company, in my opinion. I mean, he's just like
he's a little baby Yamato. He's
Yoshioka. Great. You know, this match is going to be very interesting. I think Kikita wins, but this is the best possible match I think they can put on right now, and it's going to be unbelievable. Yoshioka is, you know, has been champion, but Kikita, you know, is the bigger guy. It's gonna be a 22, 23 minute hell of a match, throwing bombs.
They just need to go full bombs, full moves, like dropping each other on their heads, back and forth. Like know, when Dragon Gate gets to the top and they get that pace and that energy behind them, when you get people, you know, like Shingo, like Yamato, like Shun, like KZ, people like that, all at the top of their game, and they just move a half step faster and are a half step more impactful than anybody else in wrestling.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I feel like we can get there here, and I expect them, and I want them too bad because that's all I want out of Dragon Gate.
This match is going to be tremendous. If the top two matches on this are as good as any card in Japanese wrestling, like they legitimately.
I think each of the top four have a chance to be incredible. So let's get to this third. And by the way, I don't think anybody thinks that Yoshioka is going to win this title. I think Kikita is going to retain and continue.
I agree, but like you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Dragon Gate, you can do anything.
I mean, Kai. Do you remember when Kai won? Like how shocking that was?
I watched that. I was watching that live. I was like, whoa! And that match was great too. But speaking of, Kai's on the pre-show, which is weird.
We'll get to that. That's for a long-winded reason. What's it called? So next match.
So yes, we have the Triangle Gate titles. Triangle Gate at Kobe World is always a big deal. KZ, Big Boss Shimizu, and Jackie Funky Kamei defending against Kota Minoura, Minorita, and he's back, y'all. Naruki Doi. This is another great one.
They needed their third guy. They needed a guy to, you know, I mean, I do not think Ben K's on this card because he's injured. But
who's the? Wait, yes, he is. What? He's in the Twin Gate match.
Oh, I'm stupid. I'm really dumb. But no,
it's all right.
Ben K's in the Twin Gate match, but they needed a guy, and they thought their X Factor was going to be Naruki Doi coming back. His exclusive freelancer contract is over very soon. We don't know whether he's going to become a full freelancer or come back full time, but we'll see what happens. But I mean, Doi has been around, and Doi could be the X Factor to put him over the top. And Jay made a great point on Open the Voice Gate where he said, you know, his rate goes higher if he's walking into Big Japan with the Triangle Gate Championship. So, you know, it's going to be a very interesting match, and I'm very excited for it. Triangle Gate is usually amazing in Kobe World.
It's their signature match. It's either we either get this or some big like Twin Gate thing that's that blows it away too. But this is DG. It's everybody in the match is great. Like it should just be great. We have this is a great one too. Goddamn, Hiromu Takahashi is coming in from New Japan to take on Yamato in a singles match. This is a dream match.
This match has been building. People don't realize that this actually has had a build. When Hiromu first floated the idea of an All-Star Junior Festival, and he mentioned Dragon Gate, Yamato responded and said, "You only mention us when you need us. We don't care about you." So then Yamato and Hiromu, they're both on the All-Star Junior Festival, and now we're here with this match. And another layer is Shingo Takagi will be in the corner of Hiromu Takahashi. And, you know, that's his old stomping grounds.
So awesome.
I don't know what they're going to do with this match. You would think Hiromu would win, But you could definitely see Yamato winning, and then Yamato doing the job in New Japan for the junior title because he just adding the defenses because he wants to break that limit. So, I think Hiromu's gonna win because Yamato doesn't really care about taking pins anymore. I mean, he literally lost a fucking Gorokan mask.
I know. I was talking about that. I want to find that match because I bet it was great.
No, this match is gonna. I think it was in the YouTube digest. So. If you
he's such a heel in Ryukyu Dragon Pro. I love it.
The Dragon Gate Okinawa. They're them in Okinawa was always a very special sight to see.
But yeah, I agree. I think Hiromu's winning this one, but I'm just thrilled that we're getting it. I love that Yamato's in a singles match. Yamato is my guy in Dragon Gate. He's always the guy I gravitated to. And yeah, he's in a big time match still at his age. We also have a Twin Gate match. This is one I'm a little lower on. I'm a little baffled that I know. I'm a little baffled at who the champions are heading in, but it's Susumu Mochizuki and Yasushi Kanda of M3K defending against Benkei and BB Hulk of Gold Class. Benkei is the person I thought was going to be in the Dream Gate match. I think you agreed with me.
I agreed
for a while there. Yeah. I just like Kanda is one of those guys who was just kind of a mid-carder for a long time, and then people forget that he retired for like 2 years.
Yeah, he broke
because of a neck injury or a spine injury or something like that. Then he came back and he was the 9th most important part of RED. And
no, Kanda sucked for a very long time. Kanda was not good at all.
I know. I recognize that he's very over right now.
This year, Kanda is having a career year. I don't know. Did you ever watch the Keno and Kanda match?
I don't. I need to.
You need to watch that because I'm not shitting you when I say that it was Kanda's best ever career match.
I believe that. I believe that.
Unbelievable. And Kanda right now, watching Susumu and Kanda, they are so over right now that the matches just feel that important.
I shouldn't be so down on it. It's fucking Susumu. What am I talking about? Yeah. This should be really good.
I would open up for that. I think this one's gonna be pretty good. I think.
Also like Hulk, who it's weird because I don't think he's as washed as a lot of people say he is.
A great year,
but also at the same time he's kind of washed.
Yeah. So. Hulk joining Gold Class did a lot. He needed to leave Z-Brats.
Yeah, that worked out for him. But yep, I think we will get a title change here.
I agree.
Oh my gosh, we still got more. We'll briefly touch on the next two here, and then I think we'll close it out. Is that fine with you, Murph?
The next would be the next.
It's Keno and then Bravegate.
You missed the match.
What did I miss?
You missed the return of the Bosu 10 match series. The Bosu 10 match series where Ichikawa faces very big stars from the Japanese.
Nobody cares.
Last year he faced Keiji Muto.
It's gonna be Naito.
No, it's gonna be Shingo, I think.
Nah.
It's everyone thinks it's gonna be Shingo.
Nah. It's gonna be
or Fujinami.
Fujinami would be great.
Everyone thinks it's Fujinami because the Lek guy loves Fujinami.
Okay, all right. Anyway, yeah, I mean it's whatever.
He always faces a big star. He always faces.
Some big star will show up and then never stay in the company. I don't know what to say. Keno and Shuji Kondo, formerly of Kongo.
Wait, no, that's not true. It's now Keno and Mochizuki versus Fuji and Kondo. After
they switched it after Kongo.
They
Damn, I gotta switch my match guide. That should be fun. Keno and Mochi teaming. I love that. That's so fun. Yes. That's like a Noah team. Mochi needs to go back and do more Noah stuff. But yeah, should be great. I love Keno. He's been all over. Maybe I'll talk about him a little bit later.
Keno in Dragon Gate's been awesome. He's been very, very good in Dragon Gate, and there's talk of him being in Dragon Gate a little more often. You know, he's not a regular, but he's going to be a Korakuen regular. So, because he's been very, very well received in Dragon Gate. So, it's going to be very interesting.
And then for the Open the Brave Gate title, it will be Jason Lee, friend of the show, defending against Ishin. Ishin's whole deal is that he had to get down to.
Ishin had to lose
87 kg or whatever. But,
82.
82? He has to be I don't know if that's possible.
He had to, and it's a shoot too. The weight loss.
Well, yeah, I know it's a shoot. Anyway, do you think there'll be a title change here?
Yes. No.
I'm gonna predict no.
I think no because I think they're gonna let Jason cook for a little while.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
And then this match doesn't matter, but my favorite wrestler, Taro Nohashi. In the opener. And then for people were asking why it doesn't list a team against Kai and Hyo in the pre-show. That's because all the rookies are hurt right now. There's like no healthy rookies right now. They're all banged up. So it's really whoever's like the most healthy will wrestle. It's probably gonna be Tanaka and Junior.
Yeah, that checks out to me. Okay, I'm super stoked for this show. It's one of the biggest shows of the year in Japan. We're going to give you the full report at this time next week.
It looks a lot better.
Finally, y'all, I'm going to very briefly mention that we may have a new Triple Crown champion at this time next week. Yuji Nagata is defending the Triple Crown title against Yuma Aoyagi. And you just got to think that fresh off of the main event and all together, you want to give that title to Yuma. Finally winning that title makes sense to me. Nagata's had a good reign, but I'm ready for someone else.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, Yuma's been a part of like some of my favorite matches of the whole year. Obviously, of course, the all together one being kind of the big spotlight for him. So I can definitely see a title change here, and it should be an excellent match.
Okay, finally, I'm glad we gave Kobe World requisite time. We gave everything its requisite time. Sometimes we speed through stuff, but it's worth it to get everything out there on this show. It's big stuff. All right, Beast of the Week. It is time. It is time. Jamie, we usually kick things off with you. Who's your Beast of the Week?
My Beast of the Week, or should I say Beasts of the Week, because I have a collective Beast of the Week. My Beasts of the Week are Queen's Quest, for the power of friendship prevailing in the cage match. I was going to give it to like just Aphrodite, but because they were kind of like the big moment. But I thought everyone in Queen's Quest have a good show. We talk about Lady C and stuff, so I'm going to give it to the entire faction of Queen's Quest.
Before we get to mine, I almost forgot we have a super chat from 45 minutes ago from Darren Walker. He says that Jeff Jarrett should beat Orange Cassidy for the belt. He was robbed. And what matches do we think will be at Forbidden Door 2024? That's a good ass question, actually. Ospreay, as long as we get a big time Ospreay singles match against an AEW main eventer, that's pretty much good for me. Ospreay Danielson, Ospreay Takeshita.
If Kenny's still around, big time Kenny match would be great too.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see Yota Tsuji. I'd like to see him.
Tsuji would be great. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, my Beast of the Week. It's interesting you talk about a stable. I'm also going to reference a stable in my Beast of the Week, but this time it is a stable that disbanded. My Beast of the Week is going to go to somebody who had his 15th debut anniversary this past week, and by the end of it, his stable was done. We just talked about him. It's going to go to Keno. Keno is my favorite wrestler in pro wrestling, Noah, and he had his anniversary this past week of his debut. I am just such a fan of him. He's shown up all over. He's been in All Japan. He's been in Dragon Gate. He, of course, was in the main event of All Together, and he's just one of the best wrestlers out there, in my opinion, and a favorite of mine. And so he has anchored the sort of top heel division in Noah for years now in Congo. And I'm ready for him to finally move on and do something else. Congo is no more. Congo gave us many great matches. Murph's doing a bit up there. But I'm so excited to see what he does next. I am a huge Keno fan. He is my Beast of the Week. 15 years in the business, and they've been 15 great years. He's one of the best in the world. Murph.
My Beast of the Week has fought through a lot of adversity. My Beast of the Week is someone who was under scrutiny, but he was able to lead his team to a very crucial win in the series against the Texas Rangers. My Beast of the Week is number 11, the shortstop for the New York Yankees, Anthony Volpe.
You love this guy.
Anthony Volpe is my Beast of the Week for fighting through the adversity of everyone was telling him, send you down, Volpe. Well, Volpe, he's charging back over the Mendoza line, and he led the Yankees to a series win in Aaron Judge.
Back over the Mendoza line is so funny.
Aaron Judge's absence. My Beast of the Week, number 11, the kid from the Upper East Side, Anthony Volpe.
Congratulations for helping your team win a series of baseball in June.
It was much needed.
After being like one of the worst players in baseball for like months. Yeah, I guess that could make you a beast in some way. I think collectively, our beasts of the week should be Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay.
That's true.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think that checks out. Okay, everybody, that's going to do it for us this week. Next week, we're going to give you reviews of Dragon Gate Kobe World. That's going to be our headliner next week is Kobe World. We're going to also, of course, review Stardom. Jamie, when does the 5-star start?
Oh, I'm not entirely sure. I think it is. I think it's like mid July. I don't know the exact date. We did get the block reveal at the show on Sunday.
So yeah, whatever ends up being like the week before the 5-star GP happens, we'll do that. Oh, there's also what is it? Is it Summer Sun Princess? That is also so. We're moving sort of the new away a little bit from the New Japan, Stardom, sort of what we kind of stick with, and we'll be talking about Dragon Gate, TJPW. We'll probably be talking about All Japan because we'll be reviewing that show, and then we may be into our 5-star preview as well. But we'll decide when it gets to that time. I'm not sure exactly if it's that time yet. Next week. So for Murph, for Jamie, this has been Beast of the Week. Everybody.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Thank you for tuning into Beast of the Week.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning into Beast of the Week. No, thank you all so much. This is like some of the most super chats we've ever gotten on a show. We really appreciate you guys doing that, and we continue to rise in viewership. I think we had up to like 53 at some point this week, and consistently over 50 for us for such a niche interest, I think is really, really impressive. And we really appreciate all of you guys tuning in and listening. So we love you all, and we will see you all at this time next week. Stay dumb.